Has Dr. Joel helped make your life a little happier and healthier? Consider supporting the show for as little as $1 a month so we can continue to bring you the content you love. Just go to patreon.com/JoelWade. That's patreon.com/JoelWade. $1 a month. It's all we ask.
You are now listening to the Mastering Happiness podcast with Dr. Joel Wade.
Romantic love is often thought of as mysterious, with lots of wishing and hoping that things go well. This can legitimately be the case when we first meet. There's chance, there's chemistry, the right moment, the right circumstances. A lot of things have to come together for two people to come together. But we know a lot about what makes for a growing, nurturing, and flourishing romance over time. And we're going to look at two of those that are both essential and very closely entwined today. I'm Joel Wade, and welcome to today's podcast. An acquaintance the other day asked me what I do, and I told her that I'm a marriage counselor as well as a life coach. Then she asked an interesting question. Is compromise the key to a happy marriage? At first I was tempted to say yes. Compromise is certainly one part of two different people sharing a life together. We can't do everything we want whenever we want to. We have to find ways of adapting to each other's needs and inclinations. But thinking about it a little more closely, I instead said an emphatic no. Compromise is not really the key. Compromise is kind of like when one person wants a room painted yellow, the other wants it painted blue, and so we compromise and get green. But neither of us may even like green. Compromise is sometimes win-win, sometimes not. There are certainly times when we compromise, but it isn't the driving force of a great relationship. What is the driving force of a great relationship? A winning premise, a conception of what our relationship is all about that includes a shared vision of the two of us together. A great relationship is founded on the premise that you and your mate are allies, that you are a team together. Imagine you're on a great basketball team. You have the ball, and you're on a fast break down the court. You see your teammate up ahead with a great position, so you pass him the ball so that he can shoot. You could have taken the ball all the way down the court and maybe taken the shot yourself, enjoying that moment of personal glory. But you passed it to your teammate instead. Is that a compromise? Not at all. As a team, we're working toward the same goal. We want to win the game. To win the game, we have to play together as effectively as we possibly can. We have to know our teammates extremely well. We have to pay attention to where they are and what they're doing. We have to be focused on the goal and committed to playing together at the highest level possible. This isn't compromise. It's a conscious understanding of goals, priorities, and strategy. There's nothing so disappointing in a sports team as a bunch of phenomenal players who each think that they're the star and whose focus is primarily on their own personal glory. To win as a team requires that everybody see himself as part of that team and to think in terms of the team's success and glory, which also happens to provide the best opportunity for each individual's personal success and glory. The level of commitment to achieve this is total. It can't be 99%. We can't have part of ourselves thinking, gosh, maybe I don't want to be doing this. Maybe there could be another option. The difference between a 99% commitment and a 100% commitment is huge. In a marriage, when we commit to getting to know our wife or husband extremely well, to knowing what matters to her or him, what their dreams and hopes are, what their vision is for our marriage, we're getting to know our most intimate teammate. We'll come to understand how he or she responds to different kinds of communication, how to ask for what we want in ways that he or she is likely to hear, the things that give each other pleasure, the different moods and events and timings of activities that work and don't work. This is something that we as a couple both need to do as allies with the same vision for our marriage. When the two of us spend time together clarifying and refining our vision for our life together, we're setting the stage for success toward that vision. We're defining the shared direction toward which we both want to head. This will be a different direction than we'd be heading if we were single. Alone, we would of course have a different vision, but we also could not create the same kind of life as we can together. It might be a great life, but it would be a different kind of life. Just imagine one superstar basketball player, maybe LeBron James, facing off against a full squad of players. Amazing as he may be, he couldn't do much because that game is about the relationship between great players. A marriage is about the relationship between two great people. And the details matter. A great marriage is not built through an isolated romantic encounter every once in a while. It's built through the daily moments of connection, how we treat each other every day, responding immediately to a request for attention, responding positively and asking a couple of questions in response to good news, asking about each other's day, and just paying respectful attention to each other. But the foundation for all of these behaviors is a deep commitment to one another, to your relationship, and to building your relationship as teammates, as allies, as two people working together to create something wonderful. If you're having some troubles in your marriage, or if you want to make your good marriage better, take some time to examine the premise that the two of you share about your marriage. Does it include the commitment to join together as allies? Does it include taking whatever troubles you have between you and facing those troubles together as a team? So it's the two of you against the troubles, and not the two of you against each other. If not, there's some good news, because there's a lot of leverage to be had in making that commitment now. And I've seen this kind of commitment change marriages that have struggled for decades. As Nietzsche said, it's not a lack of love, but a lack of friendship that makes unhappy marriages. If you feel you could use more guidance, the relationship coaching I offer can help you to learn this. Love should be an expansive adventure with kindness, curiosity, and playfulness as central daily features. It's easy to have this at first, but with intention and commitment as allies, we can maintain and grow that initial spark and keep the fire growing for decades. And that glow is at the heart of why we're teammates to begin with. There's a specific strategy to nurturing and maintaining that glow over time. When we love someone and they enter a room, that room gets a little brighter for us, like the lights have been turned up a notch. What brings that glow, that brightness from another fellow human being? Love is too rich and complex to boil it down to some single facet or data point. But one of the essential elements that goes into feeling love for one another is the experience of being seen, and seen in a special way. When we fall in love with someone, we aren't just seeing who they are, we're seeing the best of who they are. And to see and be seen in this way is one of the greatest, deepest joys of life. One of the central qualities of happy marriages is that both partners continue to see the best in each other over time. Researchers have found that happy mates always rate their partner more highly than other friends or observers do. This isn't some fantasy pretense or delusional wishful thinking. We're complex beings. Within every person is a rich world that takes time to understand. We're each full of aspirations and abilities and courage that aren't obvious to just anybody. It takes getting to know somebody deeply to see what they're made of. A loving mate will choose the best of possibilities to focus on, to reflect back towards, and in that way, to encourage more of. In contrast, when love dies, that focus turns toward criticism and disappointment, and the gaze moves to see those very same qualities that once inspired and delighted, now as weaknesses or irritations. This is a choice that each of us can make at any moment in time. We can choose to see the best in another person or the worst. If you want love to grow, choose the former. Of course, sometimes people do objectively bad things, harmful things, even despicable things. Regardless of what our potential may be, it matters very much what we actually do. Love isn't founded on denial or pretense, and as with all enduring goodness, It doesn't grow through disconnection from reality. Nothing grows from disconnection from reality, except more disconnection from reality. The light of love dims in the presence of despicable behavior. It also dims in the presence of deceit. So, what I'm advocating is not simple, really. On the one hand, I'm saying to see the best within your mate. On the other hand, I'm saying that this does not include being delusional or dishonest. To see the best within another person is, to somewhat paradoxically, also be aware of their shortcomings and weaknesses, and to accept these for what they are. It's essential, of course, that what you see is what you love. You and your mate would likely never have been drawn to one another without a deep resonance of values, attraction, and admiration. Given that foundation, the human struggles and challenges are just the predictable set of problems that any relationship has to deal with. But without enough shared admiration and values, those struggles can sometimes be too much. But this is much different than expecting some ideal of the perfect mate. If you're seriously looking for perfection in your mate, let me be blunt, you'll never be in love. Perfection is a silly, childish, ridiculous thing to look for in another human being. Let's examine this a bit. First of all, your idea of perfection will be different from my idea of perfection. And I can guarantee you that your idea of perfection will be different from your mate's idea of perfection. And by the way, you probably don't want to know what your mate's idea of perfection is for you either. Beyond that, I strongly suspect that your vision of perfection today is different from your vision of perfection 10 or 20 years ago. So you'd be expecting that your mate would not only fit your perfect vision of the past, that they'd somehow continually scramble to meet your perfect vision for them as you grow and change? Not likely. Most of us have much better things to do. Furthermore, if we're looking for our mate to be perfect, then by definition, we're looking for an ideal within our own mind, and we're not seeing the living, breathing, feeling, and magnificent human being right in front of us. If we're expecting our mate to be better than who they are, then we're really expecting them to be other than who they are. And this isn't love. It's more like its opposite. Over the nearly 40 years of my counseling and coaching career, I've seen couples expect some abstract vision of one another many, many times. I have yet to see anybody succeed at it. We're not put on this earth to live up to somebody else's ideal. It's enough of a challenge trying to live up to our own aspirations. Love is fundamentally about seeing, hearing, and knowing another human being deeply. We can't do that from within our own idealistic fantasy. We have to come out and look into the eyes, listen to the voice, the thoughts, the dreams, and feel the heart of another. That's when we get to feel that great resonance, that sublime emotion of being touched with love by the soul of another, and reciprocating that love back in a benevolent cycle of visibility and trust. Romantic love begins with attraction, is made possible with empathy, and grows into deep admiration and trust through giving and receiving the greatest gift that one human being can give to another, the experience of being seen. If you want love to grow, pay attention to your mate, listen to her, ask him questions about his experience, spend time with each other. Do you remember how you met? What drew you to one another? Do you know what your mate did today? What her plans are for the day? What moves him? What makes him happy? What brings the biggest, most glowing smile to his or her face? What matters to her? What inspires him? What's exciting, pleasurable, delightful? If you want love to grow, spend more time getting to know each other. Even if you've been together for decades, there's still more to discover if you let yourself be curious. This takes not just quality time, but time itself. Love grows and is nurtured through the little things, the many benevolent points of contact each day, the sensual touch, the joyful moments, the reputation that we build with each other of trust and caring and delight, and that greatest of gifts, the desire to be curious, to wish to understand more and more deeply this dear one you've chosen to love. Approach your marriage as teammates, as allies, as friends. Look deeply for the best within each other, the strength, beauty, and treasure, and you'll create something together that you never could have created on your own. You'll create a bond of trust, delight, and respect that runs deep enough to endure the inevitable hardships of life, and rich enough to flourish in life's pleasure and abundance as well. A Master's Course in Happiness is a monthly, in-depth program to help you actively, purposefully, and effectively live a happier, more fulfilling life. This course is designed to teach you the skills and principles that you need to bring the best you have to offer, inside and out. Over the course of 12 months, we'll explore what I've found are many of the fundamentals of living well. Through audio, video, and written material, you're supported to learn and practice specific actions each month that will strengthen you, inspire you, and enable you to lean into life more fully. These are skills and principles for self-mastery across all the circumstances and personalities I have ever worked with for nearly 4 decades, based on solid research and experience. And right now, exclusively for my listeners, you can experience the Master's Course in Happiness at a great discount. Use promo code MH, the number 1, PROMO, in all capitals, to get this $467 course for only $295 today. Visit www.drjoelwade.com. That's drjoelwade.com now, and use promo code MH1PROMO to receive this amazing course for only $295. A Master's Course in Happiness is designed to give you the most powerful skills that I can offer in a course. It will give you the tools and knowledge to apply yourself fully to the mission of mastering yourself. That's www.drjoelwade.com, promo code MH, the number 1, PROMO, all in capitals.